What's going on, Demetrius? Hope you're doing well, man. How's it been working with the LBs so far this summer? And I heard, Bam Martin Scott really stood out the other day. What have you seen from him?
He's been a complete linebacker. Really what scouts and really what this team is looking for. A great leader for the room, a guy that even myself, even a guy I look up to with his abilities that he has, playing, balls in the air, playing the run, playing the pass. Really a complete backer that can play all four downs, which is what you want, especially in this league in the SEC. So it was great to see him get after it this past camping today.
Demetrius, how hard is it to get a sack these days?
Well, if you're a Bam Martin Scott, it's not very hard. Very quick movements, very fluent. I think more times if you watch film, it can help you get sacks. Usually you find abilities like I do, try to take my game like Luke Kuechly, study film, study how running backs take on blocks. If they cut blocks, they just duck their head so that, when you get up to the back, you kind of have a pre-plan of what you're going to do before the snap happens.
If you can you kind of speak on any of the differences you noticed in the way the defense played in the second scrimmage on Saturday, if there were any?
I probably wouldn't say there were any differences. We keep the same mindset day in, day out. We just get the ball back, put the ball down, whether that be in the parking lot, whether that be on the tarmac before hitting the plane. We just want to get the offense the ball back. We want to play to a standard, which is everybody flying to the ball, 11 hands to the ball. Joe D says a lot population, and that helps you get people on the ground rather than assuming that one guy's going to make the tackle. Population helps bring people down and helps you get off the field. So that's ultimately what we look for.
You talk about getting sacks. I know there's always debate when you can't bring the quarterback down, whether you would have brought them down or not. Right. Just what's that been like with two guys who are really mobile and really big?
Man, I would say you get your catapult numbers up a good bit trying to contain Robbie and Lenoris, and Davis can move a little bit. Dante Reno as well. All those quarterbacks can run and move a little bit. So that's really good to have. Really good looks to have as well, especially in this league with quarterbacks that can move and be mobile in the pocket and extend plays like our guys can.
I know you've played at both Charlotte and Georgia Tech, and those are different conferences compared to the SEC. Yeah. Have you noticed like a big difference in – I know you haven't played against SEC teams yet, but playing against these guys that have been up against SEC competition before?
I would say the biggest difference right off the bat is that these guys care more. It's not fake when you see it on TV that, it just means more. And the SEC, I always used to wonder what that meant when I would see those commercials on TV. But now being here in South Carolina, being in the SEC, being in a college town, people who actually love football. At Georgia Tech, most people are there just to get an education. Charlotte, they're just kind of – now, I love Charlotte, but, it's day in, day out. You don't know what you're going to get from fans, and sometimes they'll boo you. Sometimes they'll cheer you on. Here, it's love – down, up and down. So that's I think that's what the biggest thing about it is, that it just means more. So that's the thing that I felt here, that everybody wants to compete. You don't feel deflated going to a game. You go into a game, you go into a season with a high mindset, with a high standard. And I think that's what engulfs this program.
Demetrius, Gilbert and Dre Jacobs each played at Florida State last year, went 13-0 for the bowl game. Mm-hmm. Have you or any of the teammates kind of gone up to them and asked them what that experience was like, being part of an undefeated team?
I have not asked them about that. I'm sure that they probably did the same thing, kind of a lot of things that we're building here, making sure we play complete games. Because Beamer talks about it a lot in these meetings about finishing games. Like that was the big thing last year. And I believe that through this past spring and this summer, having a great fall camp, we've learned to come together and finish games. Not play the blame game during games and play the blame game in the fourth quarter, but really come together. And when you go through hard things, you come together more. So I think that's what is separating us from not just all the top programs like Florida State, but when you're the close-knit and most connected team in the country, like Coach Beamer stresses, that helps you reach those championships like that.
Your best Debo Williams story is what?
Let's keep this PG. I'll probably say today. I'm sitting down on a knee, eating my grapes. Dropped one. He came by, picked it up, and was like, "You gonna eat that?" No, sir. You got it. Picks it up, eats it, runs on to the next period. So I tell you, he likes grapes. But that's my first Debo Williams story.
When you were going through the process of figuring out where you wanted to spend your 6th year of college, what ultimately was the reason you were sold on South Carolina, and what are you hoping to get out of being in the SEC and playing here?
Yeah, just to be able to play at the highest level. Everybody stresses trying to get to the SEC, no matter the school. Of course, that's one thing, but the other main thing was my family. Very big family guy. I have beautiful wife, beautiful daughter, and a son that was just born. Wanted to make sure, first and foremost, that they were taken care of when I'm here. So at Charlotte, I couldn't really bring them around the facility a whole lot just because it was new staff. Not many wives were around. The wives are here at this program are always around. I always texting my wife, letting her know that she has someone in Charlotte. And other places you can feel kind of alienated, especially moving around like I have. But here it felt like home. And that's the welcome home thing isn't just for show. You really do feel like you're at home. And then once the recruiting visit and everything stops, the love that you feel from everybody doesn't stop either. It continues throughout when you get here. So that was the big thing that drove it home for me.
What is the process or the relationship with you guys and the edges? Do you have to learn how to play off different edges? Do you have to communicate with those guys? Is it different when you see a Kyle Kennard or a Dylan Stewart in there, and do you have to communicate knowing how they play?
Not really with those guys. Those guys know their playbook. Coach Lucas does a great job with those guys, making sure that everybody's ready to go for practice, knows what reps they're getting, knows the calls to make. Sometimes they can beat us to the call because they're closer to the ball and they see things faster than we see things. So it's great having great IQ like those guys have, which is going to help us in the long run be able to diagnose stuff quick, make the right calls, be in the best position to help get us off the field and get the offense the ball back.
Apologies if this is kind of a deep question for a Tuesday morning,
It's all right.
but I'm new here and I just want to hear from you. Like, in what ways has being a father and fatherhood positively impacted your time in college and being a college athlete?
It has impacted my entire career, I would say, not detrimentally, but I have a new outlook on life, I would say. It's been an extreme blessing. You don't really know what you're going to get. They say you're never really truly ready, no matter all the diapers and things you get. But it's a blessing just to get home like I will after this and see my daughter. She'll have no idea that I practiced this morning. She just wants to see me. She just wants to smile, laugh, be tickled, and that's the same with my son when he gets to that age after, he's done drinking everything that he is right now. So my wife says that both of them have my stomach, so they probably do. But that's the best part of it to me. I get to go out there, know that I'm leaving everything on the table at practice and on the field on Saturdays, and then I can shut it off and go home. Whether it's whether I think I had a bad game or if it's a good game, I get to reset and go home and be with them. Thank y'all.